Hello, welcome back to BlogTV. We've been trying to get through to Tanya True. We have her on the line. Tanya, what do companies need to know to use? What do they need to know how to use social media, especially in this case?
Well, specifically in SMRT's case, there were some of the comments that their SVP of Comms and Services said that I find a little disturbing. One of the things was that they said Twitter is still quite new. Twitter's been described as the SMS of the internet as far back as 2009. And, given the recent online groundswell during Singapore's recent general elections, there's really no excuse not to have it squarely on any communicator's radar. Even more so if you're a major provider of a service for the public good. It's great that SMRT got their Twitter handle up and running. But I think a problem that they face right now seems to be the lack of trained and capable rapid response resources. Resources that understand the social sphere, they understand how people communicate in these spaces, they know what to look out for, flag, or respond to around the clock.
Hold that thought, Tanya. Is that what you all agree with as well?
Yes. I think in this new era, I think the service provider, especially the public transportation service provider, they are dealing with the passenger on a daily basis, at a very frequent basis. And they have to look into the different passenger profile. In transportation modeling planning, we talk about how to do the profiling of your clients. It's the same as in the business world. You have to understand your clients. You have to know their preference. You have to know how to get rid of them.
Okay.
So that's very important.
Boys, we are new to Twitter. Is that a good excuse?
For what I did, I actually took pictures when I see that things appear on TV panel. Of course, I think I made myself a mistake. I actually went down to the next few stations to complete my shopping. So I literally walked down and just take pictures from every MRT stops and just keep on posting on the Facebook. Hopefully that gives some warning to my friends who happens to be around or happens to look at Facebook and know that, okay, I better avoid this area. I think it has become a second nature for us to spread the news on our own. But certainly, I think this time around, I have not heard from SMRT sending out mass email, mass SMSs or something to alert us through a more broader...
But is it a valid excuse, though? When they tell you they didn't send out anything on Twitter because they're new to it?
I think it's just pure lousy excuse. I mean, I was thinking the first thing they could have done, if it's something on such an urgent nature, they could just tie with all the telcos and send a mass SMS to blast it to the entire Singapore.
Tanya, are you still on the line? So, 4 train disruptions in less than a week. What do you think is severely lacking in terms of the communication through social media? What needs to be done, do you think?
Social media aside, I think communication full stop needs to be improved. I think there's a lot of going back to the drawing board in terms of how they need to let people on the ground know right away what is happening. I mean, you can't be sitting in a darkened train with no air for 10 minutes before you hear anything. And, if you look at what commuters do, right, if you sit in any train at any time of the day, everyone's got their heads down, they're looking at their phones, they're either reading the news, watching a movie, SMSing, WhatsApping. These people are connected to their devices. So even if you can't get out on social media, tie up with the telcos and use them as your crisis alert channel.
Thank you, Tanya. Thank you.
If we can ask you, Han Thong,
yes,
in your knowledge, is there a new media? Is there a new media department with SMRT?
They have all this, like
they do.
They have the new media. They have the SMS system to send message to taxi drivers to manage about the message about the requirement. So it's there. I believe that the staff are waiting for instruction from the top, the operating control center, and the top. If the top did not give instruction, they cannot say anything. For fear they may say something wrong. So in this case, I think we should have an instinct, back to basic. Even without that, can you say, hello, sorry, hello, we are here. Just like someone was caught in the train, in the lift. We just knock it, hello, we are here, don't worry. That kind of assurance is not there. So even without the new media, you can respond to secure, to calm the ground. That's not happening.
Okay. Let me just ask you guys. I mean, all these numbers, that we're hearing about, breakdowns. Do these numbers actually worry you?
Really, first of all, we know about the land transport master plan, and in fact, to be back to basics, that what we want is really security and safety. So the security bricks has been there in the last 1 year, 2 security bricks, and the safety one we know that it's happening. So the basic requirement for all commuters is how to ensure that the land transport is a safe one, is a secure one.
So what you're saying is that it's not that the staff is they're not properly trained. That's not the issue. It's the communication from top down.
I would say that there are 2 aspects of it. First, the staff are not trained for this emergency preparedness. They know how to prevent terrorists, but even this one, they are not prepared. So they follow a very strict kind of SOP, I believe. Yes. So we have to be flexible, and especially to deal with a different kind of emergency, whether it's terrorist attack or this internal flaw, I would say it's system flaw. They are not ready. And I noticed that the PR mentioned that some of the staff, because they're Malay, they are Indian, they can't converse in English well enough. So that also refrains them from, I think we accept broken English.
Okay, well, while we carry on this conversation, we're just going to bring up a little bit of a visual with some numbers on what's actually happened so far. As we can see, train disruptions, well, they're no stranger. They've happened before, possibly not in this scale, in that frequency, yes? But if this has happened before, don't you think, Christina, that they should have a contingency in place already?
Well, we've heard that they've gone through several training, simulations, but they seem to know the scenarios. When in real life crisis training, you're not supposed to know. The boxer Muhammad Ali had said, it's not the hardest punch that you get, but the one you least expected. Yes. And the whole basis of crisis is to prepare for the unforeseen. It is to be trained for the worst case scenario. So from what I've seen, there are some fundamental gaps. And I wouldn't place it wholly at SMRT door. I do not know who's been their trainer too, because he may have given them the light touch. And so left these people confident. But because the whole system is carrying human lives.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, let's carry on with this. We're going to probably take a turn for more technical things. So far, okay, from January to October, okay, we've had 8 train disruptions lasting more than 10 minutes each on the Circle Line. From January to October, at least 17 train disruptions on north, south, and east-west lines. We have to mention, of course, that those lines are the oldest in the network. We'd like to ask you, are these isolated incidents, the things that are happening right now, or does this reflect a much bigger problem? Is there something fundamentally wrong with our MRT system?
But by looking into the numbers, it's actually on the high side. 27 for the east-west and the north-south lines from the first day of this year till now. Another 8 incidents for the circle lines. But I think the authority and also our operators, what they should do is they should look into the nature of the incidents to classify, to make into the different category, then to tell the public, are they isolated incidents or are they correlated? If they are isolated, I wouldn't worry that much. But if they are actually correlated, then I will become very worrisome.
Yeah, the Prime Minister actually said that, when it first happened, you could have just sort of like brushed it off as something that was random. And then he said it happened again and it was the same thing. And he said there must be something basic that needs to be investigated.
Yeah, indeed, the public concern, how come the cars, not with all this vision inspection yesterday, you would not have discovered that. In fact, the cars, the 21 cars have been dislodged. How can it cause a dislodgement? And the train have been damaged. And this is fundamental. Is it design? Is a fault of design, fault for operating, and overload? These are all.
Okay, well, what is an acceptable number of disruptions? I mean, we compare our transport system, our SMRT line, to a world-class system. So compared to other world-class systems, is this acceptable, the number of incidents that we've had? Well, not just in the past 3 days, but in the last year, in the last few years.
Well, if you are asking for my opinion, I would say maybe not. Compare with other similar cities with the similar system setup. But of course, we have also need to dig into their statistics to give the fair judgment on our operators. But just by looking into the nature of the incidents, I'd like to actually bring it back to the nature of the incidents. I think the criticalness is we really need to ask our operator and also our regulators, which is the LTA and the SMRTs. What are the fundamental reasons or what are the root causes that actually contribute to these incidents? As far as I can see, the dislodged cloths or the damaged collector shoes, to me, they are all symptoms.
Symptoms of? Is it a case of a lack of maintenance? Do you think the system needs to be upgraded?
It's all possible. So that's why I think the government, the Prime Minister is already triggered to have the inquiry committees to
How does that make you
into
feel,
it.
guys? I mean, so far, a lot of questions being asked, not a lot of answers being given.
I guess bottom line is, as commuters, okay, we may not need to have excellent services, friendly smile, but basic things like smooth ride, safety. I think that's things that we cannot compromise. And especially we are all be so efficiently trained. We need to get things done fast.
True, but you want answers, don't you? After all the things that have happened, this is something you're going to continue to take, yes?
I think even the answer is not that important because we want things to be solved.
So basically you just don't want to see this happen again.
Yeah. I mean, basically it's no problems. I mean, you have your reasons and understandings. Maybe it's too technical for us to understand. But what we really want is no problems.
But the ordinary commuter would like to know whether we have compromised this security check, maintenance check. We know that at the end of the day, we will pull to the center to have all the maintenance check thoroughly. And before the next morning, they will go out again. Has it been compromised? That's the thing we want to know.
In the meantime, Christina, how do you think they should handle this?
I think that the fundamental communications together with their emergency partners needs to be overhauled.
Okay, well, we actually asked, we put a Facebook poll out asking, our viewers, our internet audience, what they think SMRT should actually do based on what's actually happened. So what we're going to do is we're going to come right back and we're going to tell you what most of them actually think that the authorities should actually do about this on BlogTV.
BlogTV will be back in just a few minutes. So that's the end of segment 2. So it's quick, we only have 2 segments left.
We covered 2